fun to talk about my job while I was actually doing my job. Might be more interesting than a talking video. But anyways, so if you're looking to gallop race horses as a job, my main things would be to make sure that you're a really strong rider, like you're not thrown easily. If you get thrown off when a horse bucks or shies to the side, you're probably gonna fall a lot. And if you fall a lot, people won't necessarily want to keep you on if you can't stay on the horses, so they wouldn't necessarily want to keep you on as a rider. And then the other thing is you can't be a nervous rider because of the fact that these horses often pull a lot of crap. And they can be really silly. So if you're really nervous and you're always saying that you don't want to get on horses and stuff, then it's also not worth trainers' while to keep you on when they can find people who are okay with that. And the next thing is making sure that you're fairly fit. Like no matter how fit you are, I can pretty much guarantee that until you start riding these horses, you're not going to be fit enough to ride them. So just make sure that you can go for runs without losing your breath. You can hold a plank. You can do wall sits for a decent amount of time. That you're able to ride at least like 4 or 5 riding horses a day without being completely exhausted. And just do as much strength workouts as you can, like the rowing machine especially. Like you want your arms to be pretty strong. I'll post a photo of what I look like now after the season of Galloping compared to what I looked like before in this, so that you guys can see. But yeah, you just want to make sure that you're really, really fit, that you're confident, and that you have a good enough seat that you're not thrown super easily. Like, you will fall. Like, I think I've fallen 2 or 3 times this year. One of those times is because the horse fell down, so technically the horse fell, but you're gonna fall, but you don't want it to be like a constant occurrence because these horses do pull a lot of crap, and most of the time I sit through it. It's just this odd thing if I'm caught by surprise or something really bad. So that's the main thing. Like I've had people be like, I'm a nervous rider, do you think I can do the job? And like I'm not trying to be mean, but no, you can't. If you're a nervous rider, you'd drown in this job because these horses can be so much to handle since they're young, and they're usually stalled for a fair amount of time, and they're fed really high grain diets, like higher than what any of your performance horses would be eating probably. And then their job's also high adrenaline, so they get really excited coming out here, and they're all pretty green. So yeah, if you don't have experience riding really green horses and some training and knowing how to sit difficult horses, then it's probably going to be too much for you. So I definitely get that experience before looking for this type of job. So we'll see if you can see. So this is how you make your cross. Cross them over, and then hold both sides and put them down on their neck, knuckles down. And that's just so that when they pull, they're pulling against their neck too. Okay, you asked. Yeah, this is what he does. He tries to draw. But, so yeah, anyways, when they start bucking, they can buck into the cross. And if that's the case, you want to drop one side and just hold a half cross like so. You can see that. But yeah. So these horses pull. When they start running, they'll pull into the bridle, especially when they're really tough. She's not being super tough, but she's still pulling this whole time. So that's why you need to feel really fit to hold them. Like she's pulling a lot through this corner, because this is where they get to gallop when we're actually breezing them. So she's trying to take off on me. Like, using the cross on their neck helps because some of that pulling is to her, but she can still pull and try to speed up, so I have to check her back. And it takes a lot of arm strength that most riders won't have, because you don't want your horses pulling like this if they're riding horses. So yeah, you need to be pretty fit. Like my arms are kind of sore. It's a lot of pulling, especially when you're riding lots. So work out your arms. My arms are too thick for horses to just go. I like it when they just stop off the horse to me. That's a good girl. Good girl. Trinity. Greenbelt. Cool, she's eating some hay. I was checking her up. Good girl. So I probably average riding about 7 or 8 horses a day. Today I'm only doing 5, but yesterday I did 10. And at the beginning of the year I usually do at least 10 a day because it's super busy. But I don't know what other farms are like in how many people they have working for them or how many horses they have training. So obviously the amount that you ride could really vary. But this is Keeper that I'm on. He reminds me a lot of Milo. He really likes to play. So I just kind of have to watch him too. But he's not malicious. He's just playful. Like, he's not trying to do it to get the rider off, really. He's just silly. So anyways, how I got this job is I'd already had a few off-the-track thoroughbreds and knew some trainers, and people knew I really liked thoroughbreds and riding them and retraining them off the track. So I started expressing interest in galloping them on the track. And I actually emailed my current boss at the beginning of this. Oh my god. That was a rear. Okay, so anyways, that's what we deal with, guys. So I actually emailed my boss at the beginning of the season and asked her if she was hiring, and she said yes, and then when she found out I didn't have gallop experience, she said no. So I started talking to a man who's my mom's friend's friend from high school, and he said, okay, I'll teach you, because they had a private track. And then I galloped for him like maybe 3 times. I didn't really even learn how to hold like a proper cross, because I didn't really understand how he explained it to me. So I galloped about 3 times and rode some babies, and then he broke his leg and was unable to teach me. And then some mutual connections that we had with my current boss, who turned me down before, they talked to her, and she said, okay, I'll take her on, because I'd kind of gotten a start. But I started here and they realized I didn't know how to hold a cross and stuff, and they're like, oh god. And then my first day out, like I said, that horse completely bolted on me and ran off the track. And it was one of their nicer horses too. But so anyways, that happened, and for whatever reason she decided to give me a chance, and they kept training me. She told me in the beginning, she's like, only 1 in 10 of the riders that we have actually stays. Like, one of the riders we have to train actually stays. A lot of them do not work out because they can't figure it out and they just don't have the knack for it. But I was like, I'm gonna damn well be that 1 in 10. So I worked really hard. I got bolted on a few times, and I really had to get fit because I physically couldn't hold some of them back because I was too weak. And then that year there was still like a lot of horses that I didn't feel comfortable riding because I knew I was on the brink of getting bolted on every time. And then I didn't work out hard enough over the winter after that. So at the beginning of this year, I got bolted on a few times, and I was honestly considering quitting because I can't do this. And I also had a broken hand from Milo that I was galloping with. So I got fitter and I stopped getting bolted on, and I haven't been bolted on since the beginning of this season now. But I've had horses rear end me, buck, fall down, etc., all that fun stuff. But this year has been really good. I'm the fittest I've been in my life, and most of the time I'm like completely in control even when they're really tough. There's sometimes where they're getting super tough and I'm getting tired, and I know that if I don't pull up soon then I'm gonna get run off on. But usually I start fatiguing right before we're pulling up anyways. So that's good. And then over this winter I just need to work out way harder, which should be easy because my boyfriend loves the gym, so I can just make him drag me along. But so for people who are looking, I'd get as much experience on thoroughbreds as you can because they like it when you ride thoroughbreds. Don't be a butt, because thoroughbreds are obviously more sensitive and they can be high strung, especially on the track. Like, buying a thoroughbred on the track is not going to be the same as it is when it's retired. Like, all of these horses are going to be considerably quieter, when they're retired and on a less high concentrate diet. And in turnout, but so yeah, get experience riding thoroughbreds, green horses, horses who buck, bolt, rear, etc. Get experience handling that. Develop a really good seat. Make sure you have people who will be your references and back up that you are all of that with your riding. And then start talking to track trainers. Send them emails and be like, hey, I would really like to learn how to gallop. Would you be willing to take me on? I have experience with X, 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 and I would really love to learn how to gallop. The problem is, to go on a public track, you need a license. This track that I'm riding on, is a private track. So I don't have my license yet, but I can go for it. I just have to go in town to the public track and do a test. So ideally you need to find someone who has a private track that you can learn how to gallop on. And like some trainers do. It's less common, like more of them don't, but they do. So if you can find somewhere to teach you, or even a boarding mark to track that you can learn on, then that's probably less stress than trying to learn by riding not on a track and then just getting thrown out onto the track for your exam. But yeah, just ask around and develop your skills riding non-race horses, because you'll really need to handle a lot of stuff. So, and like do so calmly and not make a big deal out of it. Making a big deal just often escalates it. Anyways, yeah. But yeah, like I do love this job, but it is super physically taxing. And it's early hours and 6 days a week. And sometimes it can get frustrated with how the horses can be, because it can be a lot sometimes if you have like a really bad day. Like for example, when the weather suddenly cools, pretty much all the horses are going to be silly, and then by the end you're just so tired and done with dealing with annoying babies that you're just grumpy. But like it's taught me a lot, and it's definitely made me a better rider. Like I can sit way more BS than I used to be able to, and I used to be able to sit a fair amount. But now I have like a really good seat. Like they've done some really crazy stuff, and I haven't come off. So yeah, and it allows me to have access to really nice sport horses on and off the track, and it's just nice because I love thoroughbreds. So yeah, keeper. After he got over that one moment, he's like, I'm not even gonna buck anymore. And good boy. Really is like one of the sweetest, most mild-mannered storm cat descendant babies I've ever ridden. His daddy is Storm Victory, and he's just one of the best ones we've had here. He's so sweet. So anyways, I'm going to tell you guys a story about how that horse fell down with me, just because it's kind of funny. I talked about it on my Instagram shortly after it happened. But we were coming down this long side coming up, and there's one of those traffic construction cars, like the trucks with the arrows that flash. So I was in a set with another girl, so we were going side by side, and we were already kind of looking at it like, oh no. But like we started to pass it on two babies, and it was their second time out on the track or something, and we started to pass it and they're fine. But then the lady who was driving it gets out and whips a flag out of the back of the car. And mine, who was on the outside, right where Curly is, freaked out and then body slammed the other one. And they went off the side over there into the infield, which is where all the grass is. And it was when we were getting a lot of rain, so it was literally a swamp. So they sunk down to like their knees after they fell. And both me and the other girl rolled off into the mud. and the horses were standing up to their knees in mud and just like trembling because they were like, oh my god. And mine got up and moved onto the track and just stood there. And we hadn't caught them yet, but this lady with the construction car just keeps rummaging in the back after seeing like the most dramatic fall ever, because 2 horses fell completely down and so did the 2 riders. And like if my horse had fallen close to the other horse, he could have landed on the other rider, so it was really dangerous. And she just kept digging through her stuff even though we hadn't even caught the horses yet, and so it was really quite rude. And it was on the worst possible day too, because the owner of the horses had come to watch. And yeah, so that was fun. That was probably one of the more exciting falls I've had here. The other ones have just been from horses suddenly slamming on the brakes and then I just pop over their shoulder. But yeah, that one's definitely the most exciting. And then the most exciting non-falls I had was on a grey that we have. He reared up coming up off the track and he walked like 2 steps on his hind legs. It was pretty impressive. And then we had that other gelding with the chestnut gelding. He reared up because in the morning the semi-trucks cast shadows along the track and then they look like they're chasing the horse, so he saw it and he was just like, hell no, and then he reared up and like twirled until he was facing the other way and then landed. And yeah, that was pretty funny. But yeah, I don't like the mornings when the trucks are like that. But Curly is perfect and he doesn't care about anything. But yeah, if you have an off-the-track thoroughbred and you're wanting to gallop it, I highly recommend that you make sure you know how to set a proper cross and learn some things about galloping so that you don't get bolted on. They'll probably remember. And then if they do, they can get quite strong and you won't really anticipate it even if they've had some retraining. Or also make sure that there's someone who can catch you in the event that you do get bolted on. And yeah, just stay safe. Wear a vest, even if you don't usually, because spinal injuries are a lot easier to have happen when you're going at high speeds. And yeah, just be safe. Tough horses you want to ride shorter. Horses who are prone to spoofing and stopping, you want to ride as longer stirrups so you can't get launched as easily. And yeah, Curly is a kind of in between, so I ride him pretty long. I rode all of them pretty long today just because some of the horses have been spoofing and bucking and I don't want to get launched. With really short stirrups, it's easy to get just thrown right over in the neck, and that's not fun. So, also, I like it when they have their ears turned back most of the time, because if they're pinned forward the whole time, then it usually means that they're seeing something that they want to spook at. So I like it when they're flicking back and forth or just turned back to me. In his case, he's not really paying attention to me right now, I don't think. He's wanting to play. He's just turning them back so the wind isn't blowing to them. But yeah, people think forward ears equals a happy horse, but like in some cases it can. But if they're pinned forward the entirety of your ride, they're not listening to you. They're listening to whatever's in front of them, and especially if they're pinned straight forward, they're probably looking for things to spook at. So I like horses with relaxed ears, pointed to the side or back, or flicking back and forth constantly, so they're paying attention to what's in front of them and what's behind them. What he's doing right now is good. And he has relaxed ears even when they're forward. Good boy, girl. Good boy. Yeah, with most of them I don't touch their mouths at all. And we're on a loose rein. Hit it. Come on. And then I like to jog back loose. As loose as possible. It depends on the horse. And I do let him look around and stuff on the way back because he's done his job, so he can kind of just chill. Good boy. Curly, you're so smart and lovely. People who think that racehorses aren't that broke are so wrong. because they're like all pretty green ropes. They're not really finessed in anything for like in terms of riding. Like you still need to teach them like proper carriage and stuff. But they just walk around canter, you can ride them on a loose rein. And yeah, it's not like you're swinging on them and they're immediately gonna bolt. Like they know how to trot and canter and stop and stuff. It's just that people usually act them the wrong way. Yeah. So anyone who says bought a horse that only knew how to gallop is wrong. They definitely break them to dogs.